At times I think about it and I feel like he was here and he disappeared and nobody knew about him.
Definitely one of the most brutal cases I think Richmond detectives have ever worked.
The body was found about half mile downriver. Somebody had picked up a boulder and just smashed it down on him. He was killed first and then had his head cut off. And somebody carried it a mile all the way up by the railroad tracks up on the footbridge and placed it there. Clearly, I think some kind of message of some kind.
One of the things in this case that stuck out to me is that Eddie's family did not know that he was living homeless in the Richmond area until he was murdered.
Please, if you will, take the time to help us, to help Eddie, to let us have an answer, and to help solve this for him so he doesn't die in vain. Please. For 3 months of the year, from October 30th to December 31st, 3 of us were the same age. That's Eddie when he was in school. He was good to talk to. 23 years ago, that Eddie was murdered, and this bridge I'd never been to. Ooh, this gives me the willies a wee bit. Do you know where his body was?
Tuesday morning, a pair of walkers hiking down this path found the head at the other end of this footbridge.
I'm a little shocked because we normally don't find severed heads in this area.
After an intensive search, Richmond police found the victim's body about 3/4 of a mile downriver. But the identity of the white man and the answers to other key questions remain unknown.
The victim is Henry Edward Northington, and people that were close to him called him Eddie. Eddie went to school down there in the Colonial Heights area. When he graduated, he eventually left to be a sailor in the United States Navy. When this happened, it was assumed that family members in the community thought this was a hate crime because Eddie was gay.
All of this would be so much different now. People look at people different now. He was gay. They wouldn't have thought that was bad. This crime would not have been, it would still not be sitting where it is if it happened today. It would have been handled a whole lot different because the public wouldn't have stood for it either.
To get to the root of this story, Mark Holmberg years ago went into the homeless camp and talked to some of these homeless folks that were there and learned a lot about Eddie's case.
It's one of the toughest homeless camps in Richmond, really remote, down here near Texas Beach.
So the speculation, at least as far as I'm concerned, was he was living at the barrels, this campground called the Tunnels of the Barrels. It's a big drainage tunnel. The body was found about half mile downriver. It had a massive crush wound on the side of his chest and abdomen, like somebody had picked up a boulder and just smashed it down on him. I had a suspect. I think the police had a suspect. There's another homeless guy. And my last information was that right after the crime, he went to Seattle or the Seattle area.
At one point, they had checked on someone, and they had given me a couple names of people. They have gone even out of state to talk to people that were in prison. But, I guess through the grapevine in prison, and some people claim they do things, and when they did talk to them, the facts didn't line up. Why somebody wants to take credit for something like this that they didn't do, I don't know how credit helps, but I guess it's in their world.
Eddie Northington was 6'4". He was a big guy. Just physically moving somebody that large around to get them in position, all these other things, you'd think you would need at least more than one person helping, if not a group of people.
I know one thing that I wondered is how did they, what method did they use to behead him?
Even with training, it just takes a lot of effort and a lot of just physical labor, really, to do that, unless they're using something like, honestly, like a power tool or a hacksaw. Maybe you could get through it a lot faster, but you'd still think at least maybe 5 to 10 minutes and making a fair amount of noise.
Definitely one of the most brutal cases I think Richmond detectives have ever worked. And I'm saying that based on my 21 years here.
I could have never imagined in my lifetime that something would have happened like this to anyone. And it's still hard to believe in after all these years that it happened to Eddie. None of those things. I just hope somebody helped. Somebody knows something. People saw something. I know they're scared. I was scared. That's why I didn't say stuff before, because I have family to protect. But at this point, you know, everybody's, as things go on and years go on and people pass, I don't want to die not knowing, or not trying to help find out what happened to my brother. Neither does my sister. It's only Diane and I. We just need help. That's all I can say.